Hi, everyone. Welcome to Taste Test Adventures with Harvest of the Month. We're going to go ahead and get started just so we can stay on track with time here. This is also a hybrid session, so hello to anyone who is on our Zoom today. So I am one of your speakers today. My name is Sarah. I'm housed in Nebraska Department of Education. I'm a farm to school specialist there with my colleague in the back whose name is also Sarah. So if you have a hard time remembering, just call out Sarah. Someone will answer you. And then I also have Zaria with me today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zaria. I'm the Wellness Program Coordinator at Partnership for a Healthy Lincoln, and I'll be talking a little bit more about what we do at our schools with Harvest of the Month a little bit later in the session.
Perfect. So today's agenda will just kind of go over Harvest of the Month, what that is in regard to Farm to School, where you can find all those materials and a run through of what those are. You'll get to taste test some apples. If you walked by our session, we had some apples out. We have the same ones here. So if you're getting a little hungry before lunch, hopefully that'll help tide you over. Like Zaria said, she's with Partnership for a Healthy Lincoln, so she'll share about how she uses our resources in her experience with after school clubs. We'll give you a little heads up on an event that we have coming up in October. That's a really easy way to start kind of some farm to school and some getting local foods into your programs called Crunch. And then we'll just have some time for questions and a wrap up at the end. So before we get started, just want to do our little community agreement. We start these just to kind of set the tone for our sessions. So just remember that in every chair in here is a leader. We like to take space and make space. So recognizing when you have things to contribute and stepping back and learning from others. Always be curious and look for ways to learn. I from you and you from me. And no one knows everything, but together we do know a lot. And recognizing that we all come from a lot of different communities and our after school programs might all look a lot different and our experience levels vary as well. So I wanted to start and just have you take a second. Food is really important to a lot of us and really ingrained in a lot of memories that we have. So I encourage you to just take a couple seconds and think about a memory that you have that involves food. Maybe some of the details of it, like what was the food served, who is there with you, is it a particular weather or a season, special occasion? Lots of those usually have ties with food. Maybe there's textures or aromas that bring back that memory. So just kind of think on some memories you have around food for just a second. Does anyone want to share a food memory that they have? We have prizes for sharing. You might walk away with a farm to school t-shirt if you choose to share. Oh, yeah. Do you want to share about your food memory? I love that. Yeah, just the special ties that food can have in our life and those memories. Yeah, you want to share? I love that. Yeah, and I'm right. Yeah, and I'm sure every time you see an angel food cake, that memory just comes back to you. So I just wanted to show that, we all know that food is really important and ingrained in all these memories that we have. So why not make some of these memories in your after school programs? Okay. So, like I said earlier, I'm in Farm to School. So, just in case you haven't heard of Farm to School and kind of what we do, we focus on a couple main areas. We do education, so ag education, nutrition education around products. We help schools with school gardens, also getting into their communities for garden tours, different things like that. And then procurement, so getting the food, local foods, actually into schools and having kids interact with that, whether it's through the community or after school programs, snack time, all those things. And so it kind of centers on these three C's. Classroom, cafeteria, and community. Some of these might be more prevalent in your programs. You might have a lot of strong community partners. You might have a lot of classroom or educational ties with your program. And maybe you do work with your cafeteria a little bit or things like that. So that's just kind of our farm to school background, just to get you a little centered here and grounded. So you can just hold up for me like 1 to 5 on your hand, or if you're on Zoom, type it in the chat box. But how familiar are you with farm to school in our programs? One is like farm to school, I've never heard of you until you just said it 2 seconds ago, Sarah. And 5 is hand me the mic, I'll give your presentation for you. So just kind of hold up so I can kind of gauge where we're at. Okay, ones, twos, maybe some threes. Three in the back. Do you want to share? Like, does your program do anything with farm to school or? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Well, hopefully when you leave here today, that number can bump up a couple on your fingers. That's the goal. So just to start, when I say that we're trying to bring local foods into schools, into your after school programs, we do have a lot of questions come through about where you can source local. So our website, which will be on a lot of these slides and QR codes coming up, has a lot of resources for you to find local producers in your area and different ways that you can actually get local foods into your program, because a lot of the rest of this presentation will be about how to implement that food, but how do I actually get it to me to start, right? So you can work directly with producers. We have a lot of maps and even applications that can help you find producers in your area that are working with schools, or maybe you could reach out to set up those connections. Distributors, sometimes local retailers or your smaller towns, if they have stores, are already serving local products and they might be labeled in that way. You can work with local stores like that. There's food hubs, aggregators. It can be a garden. It can be something you grew. It can be something someone in your community is growing and would like to donate or sell you. There's also farmers markets that you can purchase items at. We have farmers market finders as a resource as well. So there's just a lot of places that you can look to find local. And if that is something that you're thinking is a barrier to some of these things, please come and talk to me, or my colleague Sarah in the back is an expert at it. So we can kind of help you navigate that. So like I said, Harvest of the Month is Farm to School, one of our main programs. This QR code will be on a lot of slides, and that's the actual URL at the bottom. But what Harvest of the Month is a statewide farm to school program, and it features different produce or products every month. And then we have a lot of materials that go along with it to help you with the promotion of those products in your various programs. So these are our current Harvest of the Month products. There's 20 of them that we feature, and all the resources that I'll go through in the next few slides are available for each one of these items. And then this is just the items that we have. So this is like our Harvest of the Month calendar, featuring our items and their seasonality. And then on the right is we just expanded to our Indigenous Foods Harvest of the Month program. And so we added 5 new foods that have some Indigenous ties, including the Three Sisters corn, bean, and squash. And then there's some sage and bison also included. So these are posters. All of our materials are available online on our website, free to download. So very easy to access them. So within Harvest of the Month, we have a complete taste test guide. This is also on that back table on your way out if you want to grab one. Things that are in here, they go over why we offer taste tests, kind of the science behind it, getting kids to try foods in kind of a very safe environment where it's just one bite and they can kind of safely branch out and try something new. We have tips for organizing taste tests. If you stopped by our table, you kind of saw how we had a spread for different ways kids can vote on if they enjoyed the product or not. The jars are just one way. We also have like ballots where they can circle. We can do like full sheets of paper where younger kids can like mark or stamp with stickers. So just lots of ideas in there on how to engage students in a taste test, and then all these resources for you to download and use in those taste tests. Then we have our communications toolkit. This includes our seasonality chart, which shows when things are generally available from a local grower. Um, and when they're going to be fresh and in season so that you can kind of think ahead and mark your calendars on different products you'd maybe like to feature. We also have social media and like PA announcements, templates for press release, school newsletters that just kind of say what's going on that you're doing harvest of the month. And they're already written out so that you don't have to do all that legwork thinking about it, but you could send this to whoever does your social media at your schools, different things like that. We also feature newsletters. These are in the back as well for each item. I highlighted the apples one here because that's what we're going to taste test later. But these, again, just kind of idea that you could send these home with families, or if they come to your school for a taste test or for a family fun night to your programs, different things like that. They include basic information about that you're doing this Harvest of the Month program, but also selection and storage of items. And they usually have a recipe on them. We show their seasonality, and then the back has some kind of activity that they can continue to do these types of things at home, carry the fun home with their families. And then we have a lot of supporting materials, additional materials. So like these are our I tried stickers. So we have these for all our items that you can print out. And the kids really love to wear them around when they try something new in the after school programs. We have coloring sheets, we have trivia cards. And then up in the right hand is our posters, which have kind of our trivia and also just some beautiful design of the product to kind of show different varieties or something new. And then within our indigenous foods, we have some lessons. One of the ones that I highlighted here is the Three Sisters story, so showing how corn, bean, and squash grow harmoniously and how that has some indigenous ties to it. And then we also have, for our Indigenous Harvest of the Month products, the different language pronunciations for 5 tribes that are prevalent in Nebraska. So lots of different resources and ways that you can incorporate those materials into your programs. And then finally, we have the chef's table. This is just another way to walk through a taste test, but there's a few other components. There's like a marketing guide so they can see how they would, maybe this is geared a little bit more toward the older kids. They could plan their own taste test. So how would they market that to their peers that it's upcoming? And then we also have a sensory evaluation that they can do. This doesn't have to be done with that specifically. Anyone can do this, but just getting kids to think about when they're trying items, how did that smell? What is the texture? Just getting them to use a lot of their senses and kind of that mindful eating while they're taste testing products. So just a lot of different ways that they can engage with products if they're doing it. So I put this QR code up. It's been on a lot of the slides, but that takes you directly to our Harvest of the Month where all of these are housed. And I was just gonna give you all like 3 minutes to kind of, you can scan this QR code, see the site, and just kind of click around, see where everything is. So if you want to get back to it later, you're a little familiar with it. And just kind of be thinking, maybe for a shirt, what resources that I've kind of highlighted already that you think would be most beneficial in your program, or one that kind of got your ears to perk up a little bit that you were excited about that you think your kids would like. So just take a couple minutes right now and look over the website, and we'll come back. right, so I gave you a couple minutes there. Did anyone have anything that kind of jumped out at them they're kind of excited about? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They're all there. That's what they're for. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that chef's table resource could be really helpful for you all, just getting them to think about that marketing side. It's fun. We've had a lot of schools do it, and the just some of the like posters, even like the slogans and different like marketing things that they think of to get their peers to try something new at lunch or after school is really interesting to see. So awesome. I'm glad you guys are excited about those things. So that's what we currently have. And I wanted to highlight also, we have a lot of things coming up soon. We're really working on expansions for our Harvest of the Month program. So recipes, right now we have some recipes on our sites. They're in our newsletters. We have some older recipes and we're working to just kind of revise them, and we want them to come in a home size so that they're easier, like you said, maybe to send home to families. They're going to serve like 6 or 8 instead of some of our food service ones that serve 50. So we're trying to develop some of those. Also aimed at our child and adult care food program, because we're working to expand to early childhood. So getting their qualifications are a little different than the National School Lunch Program. So making sure that we have recipes that suit those needs and feature local products. We're adding additional items within the next year. We have honey, dairy, and eggs in process right now. And then next summer, we're hoping to add tomatoes, cucumbers, radishes, berries, and microgreens. So lots of new items will be coming to that list of 20. Like I said, we're expanding to these resources were really developed in with K-12 in mind, and so we're expanding to better serve early care and education, so that birth to 5. And then what you all probably are most excited about, look for next summer. We're gonna do some after school specific resources. So we're looking to have just kind of like some best practices things, recipes that are easier to do in an after school setting with the materials that you probably have on hand, which we know are different than a school day or an early care setting. So just trying to keep you all in mind and expand and grow our resources around what we've heard from you that you want. So look for that next year. Gardening is also an area that we cover. Our resources don't have specific guides, but if you are gardening with your programs, we turn you to USDA has a lot of great resources. These are 3 different curriculums. This Grow It, Try It, Like It is aimed at kind of the littles, ages 3 to 5. The middle one is grades 3 and 4, and then the last one is grades 5 and 6. So if you do anything with gardening, USDA has a lot of great resources and curriculums. These are also free to download on their website. Again, with gardening, there is a grant coming up right now. Applications are due in October, I think the 20th. Yeah, it's on there. But it's for schools that are planning to a new or existing school garden program, specifically focusing on environmental sustainability. And so if you are fitting into that category, wanted to let you know that that resource is upcoming. And then one more before I pass it over to Zaria, and she does all the fun things, is the Whole Kids Foundation B grants. And so these allow for schools or organizations that serve K to 12 to start or enhance existing B programs. So if you're interested in that one, that QR code also takes you there, or the URL on the bottom. And I'll pass it over to Zaria.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Like I said in the beginning, I'm with Partnership for a Healthy Lincoln. And in my portion, I'm just kind of going to go over how we do Harvest of the Month at our after school wellness clubs. So to start, Partnership for a Healthy Lincoln is a small nonprofit in Lincoln, and our goal is we partner with other nonprofits and just to make Lincoln a healthier place overall. And with Partnership for a Healthy Lincoln, also known as PHO, um, we have an AmeriCorps program. It's a federal agency. It's not only in Nebraska, it's also in the whole United States. And with our AmeriCorps program, our goal is healthy futures. And with healthy futures, our goal is to decrease obesity in with our elementary schools that we serve at in Lincoln. So that is our overall goal. We partner with CLC's community learning centers after school programming, and we're at 12 of those sites. And what we do is we have 3 wellness clubs because we've seen in Lincoln that Lincoln is lacking in wellness programming. They have a lot of like board game clubs, video game clubs, but they're lacking wellness clubs. So that's kind of what we do. We have 3 clubs. We have We Cook, which is our healthy cooking club. We have Spark, which is our physical activity. And we have Tower Garden, which is our indoor gardening. So those are the 3 clubs that we have with our AmeriCorps program. And in those 3 clubs is where we do our Harvest of the Month taste test every month. So like I said, we're at 12 elementary schools in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we do this Harvest of the Month every month. Um, and some things you can't eat raw, so we use either an air fryer to cook, so like potatoes. We cut up our potatoes and we mix olive oil, salt, pepper, maybe throw in a little bit of garlic powder to spice it up, and we use our air fryer, which is right over here in our picture. That's our setup that we have. And with our setup, we use the supporting materials that Sarah kind of talked about already, the posters. We use the newsletters. We print off a newsletter, and every student will get a newsletter to take home. And Sarah said on those newsletters, there's recipes, there's activities, there's the seasonalities, things like that. And as they do their taste tests, they're voting. We use the mason jar method, which you'll see out here. They get to vote on if they liked it, they loved it, or maybe next time. So this is something that we do every month at our wellness clubs. We're at 12 sites right now. We're looking to grow and be at all of our CLCs in Lincoln, but for right now, we're at 12 right now. And here I have some pictures of us doing Harvest of the Month. Here are some kids trying apples. And the kids really love this because the whole point is to emphasize that this is locally grown produce. A lot of the kids that we serve at our elementary schools, they think, oh, in Nebraska, we only grow corn or beef. There's other things that are grown in Nebraska, so that's the key. They love that, oh, came from Lincoln, or oh, this came from Nebraska City, things like that. And then another picture, we have someone trying spinach. So a lot of times we do raw, but another form of something you can do is you can blend it, make a smoothie, kind of have fun with it. It doesn't have to be raw. It can be anything you make it out to be. And where do we get our produce from? Because it just fall out the sky. We get our produce from Gary Fair. He's with Green School Farms. He's located in Raymond, Nebraska. And we partner with him, and his farm is called Green School Farms. Notice it's plural, it's not singular, it's plural, farms. So he partners with other farms in Nebraska, majority in the Lincoln, Omaha area, and helps us bring this produce if he can't grow it at his farm. So he helps us bring this produce. We communicate with him monthly on produce. So our next produce we're doing is carrots. I have a picture of him harvesting carrots for us for our next harvest of the month at our CLCs. So this is awesome. We took pictures out there on the farm, and we show the kids that, hey, this is where your carrots came from the farm. Gary's right here digging this up, and they think it's really cool when they hear, oh my gosh, this came from an actual farm, and the farmer got this for me. So they love those types of things. And we also have kale he has out here. So yeah, this can work, just communicating and partnering with the right people. Okay, and this is our Partnership for a Healthy Lincoln website. So on our website, this is our URL code. And we have here kind of like how we do our taste tests. You'll see all of our 12 sites that we do our taste tests at. Um, yeah, and then I think we also have a farm to school tab, and then there's a harvest of the month video tab. So with that tab, you'll find videos of how we prep our produce in the air fryer, or how to cut your carrots in julienne form. So I've made these videos specifically for early childhood education sites, and I did this to kind of show them how it can be prepped in an air fryer or blended in a smoothie, things like that. Because just to show them how you can make it on your own. It doesn't have to always be raw, like I said. So those videos show how to prep and cook your produce for that month. I think there's potatoes on there, sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, bok choy. So some of the things that aren't featured on the Harvest of the Month materials, but things that we have gotten locally grown and had at the CLCs or ECEs. We're pulling up a video I made about prepping bok choy. Just a second. Bok choy in an air fryer. We might pull up at the end if we can. Okay, so now we're gonna do our taste test. So we have local apples from Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. Locally grown, Nebraska City. Does everybody know where that is? Or has anyone been out to the farm? Ooh, awesome. Did you guys do our taste test yet? Or no, not yet. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna do that right now. And you're gonna kind of go through what I go through with the kids at our elementary school sites. I already have my apples prepped, I have my apples out. In the front, you saw our signage. I have my signage out, I have facts, and then I also go through trivia. This is the time I start going through trivia. There's those trivia questions are also on that site, that URL that you guys had, and it has that for every produce. So I go through my trivia, I ask questions, and they actually learn a lot from that trivia and those posters and the newsletters. A lot of the times on those newsletters, they have a recipe, and specifically the leafy green section, they have a smoothie recipe. And the next month I came back after we did leafy greens, the kids came back and was like, I tried this at home and I made it with my family. And they loved it. And they wouldn't try my leafy greens. They liked it when they put it in their smoothie that they made, but they didn't want it raw like how I had it. But so just things like that. You like hearing stories like that. So yeah, and today we have Jonathan and Macintosh apples. So you'll get to try one of each from the farm. And then at the end, you'll get to vote and taste test. And then you'll also get a sticker that says, I tried apples. And there's like that for every produce. And that's on the site that you guys have the URL to. Does anyone have any questions or tips and tricks for doing this in after school? We've been doing this for about 4 years now. So we're still a little new, but yeah, we've been doing it for about 4 years. A lot of times we only have one type of apple or one type. Like which one is which apple? Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't done that before, but I would if I had two different apples. I'd say, oh, how does this one taste? How does that one taste? Can you tell that they're different? I would have questions like that if I did have two different types of apples, depending on the grade as well, because we do K through 5. So maybe the older kids might tell a difference. Anybody else? How are you liking your apples? Can you guys taste the difference between the two apples, the Jonathan and Macintosh? Yeah. Say that again? Oh. Oh, one is sweeter. Okay. Which one do you think is the sweeter one? The Macintosh is sweeter? Okay. Hmm. Yes, help yourself. I think to the left.
The one on this.
Okay. Okay. Mhm. 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 Yeah, I do. I don't do happening. Yeah, so like equipment and like space. Yeah, because that's the issue we ran into too. It's like that's when we're like, okay, we gotta figure this out. That's how we kind of got an air fryer to air fry anything. And you would be surprised we air fried turnips. Like yes, we've air fried pretty much almost the majority of these types of things, just to give them a different feel. But yeah, we've run into that issue too, and we've tried to prep on our own at our office. Yeah. Yeah. But we're working on that with our best practices for after school. So I'll be coming in the summer, right? I'm not talking in the mic. I'm sorry. Does anybody have any questions? We're gonna pass it back to Sarah, and she'll end it off.
Awesome. Hopefully you're enjoying your apples, and thank you to Zaria. They do such great amazing things with these. It's so awesome to hear all her stories about everything that the kids are trying and what they're doing, and makes me jealous. I want to go hang out with the kids more. Um, so I wanted to touch on a couple things that are coming up just in the farm to school world in general. A lot of times we give a lot of these spiels and then it kind of feels overwhelming and it's like, where do I start? So I wanted to highlight one thing that we do annually is called the Crunch Off. It's any date of your choosing in October, and you can register your event at this QR code. Registering really just looks like some basic information and an estimate of how many people would be participating in it. But basically, Crunch Off is to celebrate October, which is Farm to School Month. And so we are in a region called the Mountain Plains region through USDA. And it's us and kind of 8 states surrounding us. And we do a little friendly competition to see which state can get the most crunches per capita into local produce. A lot of people choose to do apples, some people do peppers or turnips or carrots or whatever is available. And so This is just one of those, it's a one time event. It's kind of easy to get your foot in the door and try it. You can do other things along with it, like those taste test activities or different things. But this is just one kind of starter that's usually a little easier to get your foot in the door and try out. So keep your eyes out. We have a lot of crunch off materials in the back. And if you ever want to crunch, please come talk to us. It's a really easy thing to do, and we've brought home the trophy for Nebraska the last 4 years, so we're just hoping to keep it going. All the states are out to get us a little bit, so with your help, we can keep having the most crunches per capita. So, and it's really fun. The kids get into it and love to bite their crunchy food. If you decide to do it, please send me photos of your kids doing it or videos of them 1, 2, 3 crunching or whatever. We'd love to highlight them and show them off. So that is something that is upcoming this year, again in October. We're also starting a process to build a farm to school network in Nebraska, housed by us at NDE. So we are just trying to learn right now what's happening across the state and seeing what a lot of our key barriers are, what things are going well, what assets people do have, what they're looking for, what they want their vision to be around farm to school, and all the different efforts that it connects. And so we are doing listening sessions. Sarah and I will be hosting them along with our development committee for this. And those are happening on these dates in October virtually. And we just wanted to extend the invitation to all of you here to come and have your voice heard at one of those sessions. All of them will look the same, so you don't have to come to all four. Just register for one that hopefully works for your schedules, and just come, and we want to hear your thoughts about farm to school and what's going on, what you're doing in your programs, what areas need addressed, so that we can continue to build out a network, which we will launch next year at a conference in October, just to kind of collaborate all of our different farm to school efforts and um, bring us together. So if you'd like to come to a listening session, please go to that link below. These are also on our main website. You can learn more about this project or come talk to me or Sarah after this session. We'd love to get you connected to the work that we're doing there. Speaking of getting connected to the work we're doing there, if you'd like to stay engaged with our updates on this farm to school network and its development, you can go to this QR code. It takes you to a form where you just fill out really basic information, mostly your email, and we'll send you updates periodically as we build out this network. You can also provide, if you're an organization, kind of what assets you have, so as we continue to build that list, we know what's going on in our state. And then, as I mentioned, October is Farm to School Month, and National Farm to School Network has released all these beautiful free Farm to School Month resources for the month of October. There are posters and bookmarks, which we have some out on the back table. There's stickers, there's coloring pages, just a lot of really beautiful resources on there that are also all free to download. So if you're looking for some more materials for your October programming, please go see those. And that was all we had today. We mentioned a lot of resources. A lot of them are out on that back table. Please peruse them as you leave the session today. If you raised your hand and answered a question, see Sarah in the back and she'll make sure to get you a shirt. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Oh yeah, and vote for your taste test if you loved it, liked it, or next time with your beans on the way out too.